Smooth family. What's good? Hope everybody doing good. Feels good to be back. How you feeling?
I'm good.
That's good. We're gonna wait a little minute. Let some people come in real quick before we get started. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good week. Yeah, we're gonna get started. Just a second. Yeah, tell me how y'all feeling, how y'all doing. Did you eat? If you didn't, go ahead and get you a snack. Get comfortable, get you something to drink. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty good episode. What's up, everybody? Let's get started. What's good, Smooth family? It's your boy Be Smooth. You can't be smooth, and you gotta move. And this Smooth Talk. Today we got a pretty good one. For today's topic, we talking about: are you giving yourself grace? Are you giving yourself grace? I was going to the definition of that. Giving yourself grace means offering yourself the same kindness, compassion, and understanding that you would extend to someone you care about, especially in moments of struggle, failure, or imperfection. It involves letting go of harsh self-judgment, allowing room for mistakes, and recognizing that growth takes time. So we all know what the definition means. So my question to y'all is, what does that mean to you? What's good, Kitty? What's good, everybody that's just joining? But what does that mean to you? Giving yourself grace.
Sometimes you got to give yourself some props. Sometimes, I mean, if you can give everybody else a celebration, you celebrate your own self at the time. And sometimes too, that's not being selfish. That's just giving yourself
pretty much props. Yeah, I feel the same way. You gotta give yourself credit on some things, not be so hard on yourself, and just appreciate the small things. Whatever it is that you do in life, you gotta appreciate it. Kitty said, giving yourself time to heal and grow. Yeah, you gotta give yourself time to heal and grow, and become a better person. For yourself, but also the people around you, but mainly just for yourself, because you don't want to do it for other people. So, a question that I have for everybody is: are you expecting perfection from yourself?
You should have some perfection for yourself. I mean, if you're trying to have everybody else doing what's good and giving their very best, you should give your own self the best.
Mm-hmm.
And yourself, whatever you doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this right quick, and we'll go into that. Keisha said, you have to appreciate who you are and how far you come. You worked hard, even if you aren't where you want to be. Show appreciation. Yeah. And to that question I had asked, you understand that you're not perfect. We all know we ain't perfect, but at the same time, it's like when it comes to you being yourself and what it is you're trying to do, you somewhat have that mindset of like, I'm trying to perfect whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's your craft or just to be a better person. But you also have the mindset and the reality of like, bro, I'm not perfect. Like, that's just the reality of you're not perfect. If you try to be perfect, man, you're gonna be doing that to the end of time. Kitty said, no, I'm not. What else she said? She said, I just want to be the best of me. Yeah, that's all it is. You have to be the best you can be. At least try to, no matter what it is. Yeah. You have to do your best to try to be the best version of yourself. You got to grow. You got to learn from your mistakes. You know, you got to push forward. So
Yeah, that should be something you do every
Mhm.
day, every chance you get. Try to be the best version of yourself and not trying to compete with somebody else. I mean,
mhm.
you can't compete with somebody else because you don't know what somebody else can do.
You know
They
what
can
they've been
do,
through.
they can do whatever,
Mhm.
and just because somebody can do this better than you doesn't mean what you do ain't no good.
Mhm. Comparison is a thief of joy, and you know the reality of it. There's always somebody that's gonna do something way better than you, and vice versa. You can do something way better than somebody else. But if you dwell on trying to compare yourself and trying to outdo somebody, you'll never be happy, bro. Because you trying to find the next like person that you can outdo, and you're gonna be doing that forever,
Yeah, and that's the sad part. We live in a world. Excuse me. We live in a world now that is all about being competitive. I got to do this to be better than this person. I got to do this to be better than this person. I got to be able to do this, be better than this person. Yeah, just do your best.
bro. Keisha said, "I feel like we are perfect in God's eyes." Yeah, that's true. The human definition of perfect and the godly definition of perfect is two different things. Yeah, because we all was like perfect, man. But we had the things that's going on in this world, what be happening. Keisha said, "Perfect is being everything you need to be." And I'm sure in God's eyes, we are everything we need to be. Yeah, we're everything we need to be. And to say, yeah, that's right. hmm Everybody is perfect in their own way. You know, everybody's unique. Everybody is different. And yeah, so a point. Yeah, turn the camera off, y'all. We gotta fix something right quick. But a point I want to bring up is not giving yourself grace can make you feel bad about yourself, which is true. You know, I've seen people that go into depression or they have anxiety or whatever feeling that they may feel or experience. You know, not giving yourself grace and always beating yourself up because of whatever the situation may be. You know, it'll lead to you just feeling bad about yourself, and it's not something you want to do. What do you think about that?
What's that again?
So I said, not giving yourself grace can make you feel bad about yourself.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You know, we can be our worst enemy at times. We beat ourselves up, and we don't want to celebrate ourselves sometimes. We don't want to congratulate ourselves sometimes. We don't want to give ourselves this type of, you know, I did this. This is pretty good. And that because it came from me. So we just beat ourselves up at times.
Yeah. Then, you know, some people be, I get trying to be humble. Trust me, I get it. But at the same time, you have to celebrate yourself because you being humble so much or whatever. It's not being cocky. It's the difference between being cocky and just appreciating what it is that you're doing. You know, some people be like, yeah, you know, I tried, or you know, it's almost like you talking down on yourself or whatever. You know, somebody be like, man, that you know, that was great what you did. And you be like, nah, it was all right. You gotta stop doing that. You have to stop doing that. Give yourself grace and be like, you know, I appreciate it. Yeah, I did a pretty good thing, or whatever the case may be. Because when you do that, it's almost like you speaking almost negative of yourself in a way. And you have to pay attention to that. You really have to pay attention to that. So here's another question. Do you think people acknowledge the effort they put in despite the outcome?
Mm, yeah, they could. Someone do. Someone do.
Mhm. I know for me, I acknowledge, you know, the effort I put in, whether something goes bad or something goes good. Um, I try not to dwell too much on the effort. Well, not the effort, but the outcome of it. Just because it's like I I did my best. You know, I did everything I could. I gave it my all, but at the same time, you can still go back and make a few changes. You know, that's what it's all about. You're gonna fail at certain things in life. That's just the reality of it. You know.
Sometimes failing is part of the process
Mm-hmm.
to make you continue to go on and
Push forward.
keep push forward and keep trying. You know, we look at all the inventors and all the people that accomplished a lot of stuff when, like, from the Wright brothers all the way down to on Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Medgar Evers, people like that. If the Wright brother would have gave up flying a plane, somebody else would have just invented it. If Albert Einstein would have kept messing up, somebody else would have invented it. Did all this, Benjamin Franklin, all these people. If they would have gave up, somebody else would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Medgar Evers, you know, they did the best they can, the best version of them of doing the civil rights movement and saying this about trying to encourage Black people to be better. But, you know, they got unalive because of stuff like that. Because a lot of people don't want to see people move forward and advance into certain things in certain areas of their life. And because that can motivate people and push that into a movement.
Yeah. And
because the difference between a moment and a movement is a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, they miss out. You know, they don't appreciate the journey. You know, it took them to get to where they needed to go. And once they do reach, you know, their goal or whatever, they don't really be happy for real. You know, because they didn't appreciate everything that was going on around them in the journey and what was going on to lead up to, you know, their success or whatever it is. Me, I try to appreciate everything that's happening in my life. Some things you can avoid, some things you can't. And I just try to appreciate the journey because it's like everything I did, I'm thankful for. You know, everything that's happening, it built me and molded me into the person I am today, you know, to be the best person I can be and to be the person that I will be. But a lot of people be missing that.
Yeah, because another way of just putting it simple with grace is a smooth and elegant way of moving.
Mm-hmm.
Certain way you move, way you speak sometimes, or your behavior. You know, what kind of behavior do you have? Or you are this loud person about all this and thinks all about you like that, or you just the type of person that's a laid back, cool person that try to get things done without making a whole bunch of noise. Or it can be free and unmerited favor of God. You know, if you get on that side of grace, God shows grace every day. I just put it that way. Every day that you wake up and have a chance to see another day and get things right and do things right, that's grace. We living on grace right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's for all y'all spiritual people.
Right. So, what's some emotions you feel when you don't give yourself grace?
What's the what?
Some emotions that you experience and feel when you don't give yourself grace.
Sometimes I just feel
But
I can be in a sad place at most times. Sometimes
before you continue, what's the mental process that you be going through, and then like the feelings that follow behind it?
mental process that shut down. I would shut down, and I would humble myself and just be quiet in certain things. Mentally, I might be feeling a certain way, but then I understand at the same time I can't stay there. I got to get back up. I got to move, because if you stay there too long, then you will be there for a while instead of just getting yourself back up and moving on and moving forward. You know, it will have you feeling sad and down, but at the same time, you be like, let me pick myself back up, let me get back on this horse, as we say back in the day, and get back to trotting down the trail because you can't stay there for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about when somebody pass away. That's mental. That's going to take a while to deal with. But just some everyday stuff, like when people talk about you, to this very day, I still don't know why people have to respond to everything that somebody says about you. Oh, you ain't gonna be nothing. Why you trying to defend yourself? If they tell you you're not gonna be nothing, that's when it should motivate you to be something. If you're not already something, you're already something by being here. You're here, so you're already something.
Yeah. When I ask these questions, I want y'all to, in the comments, if you feel comfortable sharing, let us know. If you need me to repeat the question, I will. But for me, I say the mental process for that, I'm the same way. I like probably shut down and I start getting in my own head and I just be like stuck in there for a little minute. And then I have to, it's almost like an out of body experience. I have to remind myself and then snap out of it like, hold on, man, I can't stay in this for too long. I ain't trying to, upset myself or go down this deep rabbit hole of feeling, sad about myself and things of that nature. So, having a great support system, if you religious, having, believing in God or whatever it is you believe in, having a strong faith and just reminding yourself of who you are as a person and what it is that you're fighting for, the goals that you're trying to reach. And as far as like the emotions, when I don't give myself grace, I feel sad in a way, a little bit of anger, frustration. But then when I switch it, I'm excited, I'm happy, I feel better about myself, putting in the work. I get excited about what I'm doing because it's like I'm appreciating what I'm doing, my craft, the people I'm helping out along the way, people that's helping me. And, I can't sit here and tell my dad, oh, you should give yourself grace and, appreciate what you're doing if I'm not doing it myself. And we all guilty of doing that. You give advice to somebody and tell them, you should appreciate what you're doing, this, that, and third. But then we turn right back around and we're not doing it for ourselves. I'll go back to that one. He said strong faith in God helps so much. Yeah. And journaling too, if you write down how you feel, some things you want to work on, things of that nature. And just some of the goals and things you want to accomplish. And recently I told some of my friends and me and my dad, we also do this. I want everybody, whenever you get the chance, whether it's in a notebook, on your phone, whatever it is, I want you to make a list. I want you to title it "You Have Not Because You Ask Not." And I want you to put everything you want to accomplish, even if it's just something simple like getting out of bed. And everything you accomplish, check it out. And you'll see the progress and you'll start to appreciate what it is you're doing in life. Keisha said, when I don't give myself grace, I go into a downward spiral of who I should have been by now, what I should have been doing by now, comparing myself to others.
I think all of us have been through that stage or going through that stage or have overcome that stage. Because I have been through that myself. Because I, even like now, I look at myself, like when she said who I should have been, a lot of times we look at that now. I should have been doing this by now, even to the point now. I look at stuff, I should have been done that by now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, sometimes we procrastinate sometimes. And it's not that you mean to do that, sometimes it's just in the genes of the family. You got to learn how to break that. Because I had to learn how to break some stuff. I still got to learn how to break some of this stuff from my own family.
Them generational curses.
'Cause we sit here and wait till the last minute to do stuff, or we just sit here and be like, "Oh, I got time." No, in the world we are in now, the moment is now. It's not no, well, I got time. The moment is now. You're trying to do anything in life, the moment is now. I have learned just by watching even the business people and people that start businesses, they would tell you right quick, even in a bad economy, say that's always the best time to start something. They always say that
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna go back up.
It's best to do it now. Then, if you don't try and do it, you ain't gonna never do it. You know what I'm talking about? You never know where it can take you and where it can lead to, who it can help out, and it can change your life.
And if you got them little friends that's always talking that negative, or family members that talking that negative, and if I were you, you can stay friends with them, but I wouldn't fool with them like that.
Love them from a distance.
Yeah,
Separate yourself.
I go on by my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scroll over quick.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. I think it's okay. We ready.
Yes, that.
All right. She said, "I go through that stage back and forth, on and off. It comes and goes, but it's an eternal battle because nobody can approach me and tell me what I should be doing." Yeah, I feel you on that, but sometimes I agree to disagree on that because sometimes you do need, that person to be like, "Hey, bro, tighten up, lock in. You said you wanted to do this. Like, what's going on?" And it's not like they're trying to be funny or anything like that. It's just they want to see you be great, and they see, how can I say this? It's not technically they see the vision, but they can see greatness in you. And they just want to see you flourish and just be great. My dad does it to me. I do it to him. Shoot, we do it to anybody we close to. Because you need that extra push if you don't have it for yourself. What you think about it?
And then I would get on this side with it. I may not tell you what you should be doing. I'll say something like this: "What you waiting on?"
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you share something with me, and I just say, "What you waiting on?" And most of the time, most people will say, "Well, I'm just trying to get this in place and that in place." And it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago and earlier, and to some people I was talking to yesterday, like me and my brother we got a chance to spend some time yesterday to talk about a lot of stuff. And I would say stuff like, "What are you waiting on?" And if you're waiting to get to a certain point, especially in your finances, which I get it, I do get it, then it's a good chance you may not ever do.
Because something always comes up.
It's something always come, and something gonna always come up. Or you just, I ain't talking about you. What's that, Keisha?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. This is anybody. Or we self-doubt ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We talk ourselves out of stuff.
You can talk yourself into some stuff. Talk yourself out.
I always say that.
And you just, even myself, I was guilty of doing this. And even when I do get like that, I have to get out of that mindset. But always thinking there is a perfect time to do something. There really ain't no perfect time.
Mm-mm.
You just got to do it.
Just got to do it. The window is really getting small.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to do stuff, that window is small. You got to jump. You got to jump in that window now. Even at my age, I'm 57. Even at my age, I'm trying to do stuff now. I'm trying to jump in them windows because people that I know that be saying that stuff, they still saying that stuff. And they said it 20 years ago. They still saying it to the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting on the moment. That moment could have came and gone.
And you can use us for example. Even when it came to doing this, start out with the phones, tablets, all the other stuff where we started to get the equipment for it. If we never would have took a chance and started doing it that way, we wouldn't have got the money to do this, to get the cameras and all this stuff. But it's all down to taking that chance and just taking that leap of faith and just doing it. Sometimes you just got to do it. You know, and I'm gonna say this too. You gonna have to sacrifice some stuff. You're gonna have to. That's just a reality of it. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. If you're the type of person, I'm just speaking in general when I say this. If you're the type of person that like going out, you know, or spending your money on unnecessary stuff that you don't need, what you doing at this point? It's like, what are you doing? You know, I ain't trying to talk about nobody. I'm just being honest. But we all guilty of doing that. You know, put that money or whatever it is you trying to do towards, you know, your goals and your dreams. You know, self-investment.
Yeah. She also said, because at the end of the day, only I know my battle. But the same way we defend ourselves to others, we need to defend ourselves internally. Yes, we do. Internally, we need to defend ourselves. You know, we go toe to toe, battle with somebody that we feel like they are offending us. I had to learn this myself. Is that when somebody is saying something, doesn't mean they're trying to offend you or attacking you. The reason you feel that way, or you may feel that way, is because it's got some truth in it.
Mm-hmm. Hit dog will holler.
And so you gonna feel like, man, and so you're gonna respond. Sometimes it's best to just listen because they could be telling you something that you need to hear.
It ignite that fire in you.
And oh, what she said, oh, sorry for the long response.
It's
not no long response.
No,
Could have rolled by 4 or 5 paragraphs. It's not long.
Mm-hmm. And this is why we, you know, encourage y'all to, you know, type in the chat and stuff like that because we want to hear y'all stories. And, you know, like I said before, you never know who's watching. You never know who could be going through the same thing. You know, somebody could be going through the exact same feeling or, you know, the same thing you going through. It could help them and they might get comfortable to share. Kitty said, I work every day to stop these generational curses. We have to be a better version of what was before us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's key right there. You gotta, it's an everyday thing. It's not no one day and you think you're gonna be on top and you think you're gonna be doing this. It's not just one day. You gotta work daily at everything. You know, they say if you do something repetitive, for 30 to 40 days, it'll start becoming a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people cuss people out. That's a part of them. So if I can do things repetitive, like I'm gonna make this business grow, I'm gonna make this go on, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna accomplish this. If I keep saying that for 30 to 40 days or even longer, after a while, it's gonna be a part of me. It's gonna be a part of my vocabulary. It's gonna be a part of my mindset. That's what I'm working on right now because I'm in a business right now, and I'm saying to myself, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. I don't care what nobody else say. I can just introduce the business to you and go on from there. I'm not gonna force you to do anything. That ain't me anyway. You know, I can introduce it to you though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not doing it just for me to have a business like that just to try to get rich. I'm doing it for them, for him and my daughters. And when I get older, I have something when I can retire. I still have something I can work myself with my own thing.
Yeah. But for everybody that's new, that's just not joining, welcome to the Smooth Talk Podcast. I'm your host, B Smooth. This is my co-host, Papa Smooth. And we're talking about, are you giving yourself grace? But yeah, you know, a point I was gonna bring up is you have to give yourself accomplishments. You know, you have to celebrate them. You have to celebrate your accomplishments.
Yeah.
You have to celebrate the small ones. You know, even taking like an hour on working on your craft and whatever it is you want to do, you do that and keep doing that, it'll get bigger and bigger. You go from an hour to maybe 2, 5 hours, whatever. And then your business, whatever it is you're trying to do, it's just going to grow even better. You have to work on it.
Yeah.
Kitty said, and sometimes the push from our friends helps so much to grow into that better person. Yeah.
If you don't have those type of friends, get rid of them.
Yeah. I like to surround myself around people that's gonna push me to be great.
If they can't correct you and push you, I would leave them alone. If all they is about is just want to have fun and party and all that kind of stuff, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. You want to go out with sometime, that's fine. But if you're trying to accomplish something and trying to have something, trying to build something,
You gotta sacrifice.
it's gonna be some sacrifices in there. And one of the things about those sacrifices right there, all that partying, all that going out, all that kind of stuff, it went up. You take any businessman that's just not starting out, they would tell you, I don't do those things like that. I'm focusing on my craft. I'm focusing on my business. I'm focusing on doing this so I can have this and they can grow to this by, because sometimes people put timelines on certain things. By this time, I should be here. By this time, I should be here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to surround yourself with those type of friends. If not, that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. No one can, I have no problem with that. That's you. But to accomplish something and be better and move on and start your own and stuff like that, you gotta push yourself. And I'm looking at it like now. And this is not bragging or boasting on my son, his sisters, and his cousin and my cousin, nobody like that. They're pushing themselves. Like he's doing his thing. He doing the funny videos on TikTok now. He doing those things. He's doing different stuff. My daughters are doing some. Matter of fact, I meant to tell you the other day, Shay done went back to school. Shay back in school. See, he doing stuff. Rodrika is doing her thing in the nursing field, nursing homes and stuff. She like to do that kind of stuff. And his sister Shonda has got her lovable sweets and she pushing and doing stuff. Nicole, his cousin, my niece, is doing her stuff. She made my shirt. Y'all see my merch is out there now. See, that's what I'm finna start doing. She did this for me, and she's pushing. They are doing stuff, and they're not surrounding themselves by certain people that's trying to keep them back and hold them down.
Mm-hmm. Which it kind of ties into this question / point I was going to bring up is, do you think people try to please others and seek validation as to why they don't give themselves grace? Trying to satisfy the world.
Yeah, they trying to satisfy everybody. Satisfy yourself. Do stuff and satisfy yourself.
Mm-hmm. Like I made many videos about this. It doesn't matter whether you doing good, bad, healthy, sick, dead or alive. Somebody still gonna say something about you, regardless, bro. None of that matters. You gotta do what you love to do. Surround yourself around positive people that's gonna push you, and you just gotta appreciate everything you're doing and putting in the work. You trying to validate the world and seek validation from the world and trying to satisfy them and all that stuff, man, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. I mean, you're gonna have to do something. Mindset is a strong key. Mindset. Wherever your mind is at, that's where you're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're gonna follow. A lot of times we follow that mind. If your heart is saying one thing, but your mind is saying another. So you're gonna follow that mindset sometime instead of just following what the heart is saying. The heart will be saying, man, what you gonna start doing this and quit playing.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna start doing it. But your mind, man, we got time. No.
That, or are you thinking about like, well, what if I do this? What if they don't like it? What if they this? What if they that? This and the third? Bro, just do it. You never know. There's an audience for almost just about everything. Like, like we said before, you talk yourself into some stuff. You talk yourself out of
right out of it.
Like, just do it. Despite what anybody say, do what you love to do. You gotta take a chance. For me, when I do the dance and the funny videos and everything else I do, I'm not worried about, if everybody gonna like it. I don't expect everybody to like me. I'm not trying to have everybody to like me and love what I do. But I know some people out there who enjoy it. And if they see me doing it, they like, well, dang, if he's doing it, that means I can do it. Then that push you, whether you're a content creator, bodybuilder, you a chef, whatever it is that you're doing, bro, do it.
If I can do it, so y'all can.
For real, just
I can do it. I can do it. You can do it.
Just
I tell everybody, I'm not the best at this. I know I'm country. I talk country. I'm from the country. I know this, but I'm starting to get better at some of this stuff. I'm starting to get better at doing the flyers and until we get to making this money, show enough money, we get somebody else to do all the stuff. That's what it is about sacrifice. Sacrifice your time. I can come in when I get off work and I can be tired. I can be tired. I'll be right here on this computer because I'm learning. I'm trying to learn stuff. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to tweak this and tweak that. But at the same time, I got both computers on. I'm working on one screen on messing around with the flyer. On the other screen, I'm messing with the business.
mm-hmm.
I go back on this side, and I might have two screens up on one computer with the StreamYard and making the flyer, and then I come over here, and then I got business going on, and then I got another business going on with So I have 4 screens going on at one time. Then when I got those 4 going, I may have my tablet.
Mm-hmm.
I may have my tablet going at the same time, and so that's the thing. You gotta sacrifice it, and at times I be tired, but I look at it. The business gonna grow if I make it grow.
When it comes to what you love, my bad for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
When it comes to what you love to do and your dreams and your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna have to make them sacrifices. There's gonna be some things you don't feel like doing. When it comes to me dancing and everything else I do, man, I be tired. Sometimes I don't feel like doing some of this stuff, but I gotta do it because I want to better my life. I want to better my family's life and my friends and things of that nature. Because I have a goal, I have a dream, I see where I'm trying to go, so I'm gonna have to do even when I don't feel like doing it. Yeah, there'll be times where I be hurting. I might have pain or whatever. Because a lot of y'all know I deal with sickle cell. But if I can't do the dance portion, even though I can still sit down and do what I'm doing or whatever when it comes to dancing, but if I don't do that, it's like, okay, at the moment, I can't do this. So what else can I do right now to better my career and whatever else, I love to do? So if I'm not doing that, all right, cool. Work back on my book, work back on my merch, video ideas, writing down this, that, and third. So it's not like I'm just sitting around doing nothing, And a lot of people be feeling like, you be on the game or blah, blah, blah. I'm still coming up with ideas, even though just because I might be on the game or whatever the case may be, I'm still coming up with ideas, and talking to my friends. He be saying it, we be discussing amongst each other. So it's still business still going on behind the scenes, even when I'm having fun, just taking a little break. Because you need that break for yourself. Give yourself breaks. You like playing video games, you like watching movies or whatever, do that.
That's right.
Just don't get stuck in it for too long, but do that though. That's part of giving yourself breaks.
I'm gonna stop this banner for a second. Y'all, that's my motto right there. It's my motto. It's my shirt. It's my merch. If you want one, just hit me up or hit Brandon up. We'll get you one. This is gonna be part of my business. It's one of them right here. The shirt. It ain't nothing fancy. It's just a motto that I live by. It doesn't matter to you until it affects you. A lot of times I explained it to a young person today at church because she was reading my shirt. I said, you don't understand what that means, do it? She said, no. And I explained it to her. Things can go on in everybody else's lives. Things can go on in everybody else's lives. And they don't care because it's not happening to them. But as soon as it starts happening to them, now they want everybody else to care. Yeah. It's like all this stuff that's going on in this world. Now people want everybody else to care about what they do and what they say and all this stuff. And because now it affects them. But before that, it didn't affect them, so they didn't care. Just like all this unalive people, heads being decapitated over in these other countries. See, a lot of people don't understand that, don't care about that. Them Christian folks, they don't care about that. But as soon as it start happening here, and they'll start having a problem. They don't care about the kids, the young people going to prison and being unalive. But as soon as their loved one or their child or their grandchild get caught up and get unalive or going to prison, now they want everybody else to care. See, now that's when you care. So that's why I say it doesn't matter to you until it affects you. We should be caring now before it even affects.
Mm-hmm. Now I got a question for everybody. When it comes to needing help mentally, emotionally, and physically, do you give yourself permission to meet that need without feeling guilty? If you need me to repeat it, I will.
I'm not going to repeat that then.
When it comes to needing help mentally, emotionally, and physically, do you give yourself permission to meet that need without feeling guilty?
We all need some help.
We all need help. Yeah, shoot, that's part of giving yourself grace.
Some of my generation is still in that old mindset of, I got this. I don't need no help. I don't need to talk to nobody. I got this. But see, that's the problem. Me personally, what I think, it's my opinion. That's the problem. We have all this stuff bundled up inside. We don't talk to nobody. We do all this and we just ball it up inside, and then we wonder why our lives is like it is and falling apart at times, or lash out at people, or take it out on somebody else, because we got all this stuff and we don't talk.
Our generation turns crash out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally give myself permission, that I need help without feeling guilty. But I need help. I need it. Whether that's, like I said, mentally, emotionally, physically. Sure, if I need help, I might ask for help without feeling that, shameful or, guilty about asking. And a lot of people will be feeling like, and I get it, I get it. Trust me, I do. I've been in this situation before. You don't want to feel like a burden or bothering somebody. But it's like, bro, these people around you, the right people at least, they gonna help you, bro. They not gonna view you like that. They gonna help you.
Yeah.
So it's okay to ask for help.
Yep.
He said one thing about me is that what people perceive about me is their perception. I do what I can for me to be that better person for me. I'm the only person that I should impress. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can impress people. People can impress people all they want to. They're gonna talk about it as soon as you mess up. You're gonna get talked about bad. You're gonna get dogged out.
It's funny. It's weird, but it's funny how, despite whatever it is you're doing, you're doing good. There's always people that's just waiting on you to mess up one time, and then they be ready to call it out. Like, well, you did this, despite all the good you did. They want to point that out, and then I sit here and I be like, bro, I'm human. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm not. But at the same time, it's like, what you doing? I guarantee you doing some crazy stuff too, or whatever the case may be. Like, bro, I'm trying to find the bad in everything I've done in my life, trying to tarnish my name or whoever else's name. It's like, bro, you human too. You gonna mess up just as much as we do. Like, nobody's perfect. That's just the reality of it. But a point I was gonna bring up is teach your kids about giving themselves grace and set an example for them. Show them what it is to give yourself grace. Teach them the emotions that comes behind it, what they may experience, because they're gonna need it. They're gonna go from kids to teenagers to young adults, and adults and all that stuff. So like, you have to teach them that. That way, when they do go into this world, or they'll be prepared for it. They're gonna go through stuff. We all did, but you teach them that. It'll help in the long run. What you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Bible. The Bible even said, train up a child the way they should go. You train them in the way they should go. And even though they may stray and go do other stuff, they will always come back because you train them that way. The right way.
Mm-hmm.
Too many times we show them the wrong way, right way. A lot of times, a lot of people like to tend to hold on traditions that a mother and father taught them. And I'm not saying all of the traditional stuff is bad, but some of that stuff should get rid of it. because it's wrong teaching. Especially when you find out and you start knowing better, it's time to get rid of it.
Yeah. You have to get rid
So
of it.
they can learn the right way.
Yeah, you have to. You gotta teach them that, bro. You have to teach them that. And I know there's some parents out here that do this. Don't dismiss your kids and whatever it is they feeling, experiencing, things of that nature. And some people be feeling like, especially the Black community, you know, if you a child or whatever, you know, you say you stressed out or depressed or whatever, having anxiety, the first thing they do is dismiss it. Oh, you young, you ain't, you know, you shouldn't be experiencing that. Or they just be like, oh, you ain't depressed or whatever. You don't know what they experiencing. You don't know what they went through, whether that's that school or whatever it is they got going on in their mind. You know, it might be something you doing that's leading to that emotion. You have to watch that. You got to nurture your children, you know, teach them about having grace and things that of that nature for themselves. You have to teach them that. But what's gonna happen is they're gonna be rebellious against you, and they ain't gonna deal with you at all. You're gonna push them away from you. You have to teach them that. So here's the question I have for you. Have you acknowledged how far you've come, not just how far you have to go?
I'm looking at how far I came.
Mm-hmm. Same here, boy. I had to.
And I'm looking to where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. And if you want to know what I'm doing, you just hit me up. Just DM me. I'll let you know what I'm doing. Because see, sometimes you can't just put it out there because people pray against it, people talk negative against it, which that's what they're gonna do. And because even when I got in it, they were talking negative. Oh man, you know that is, that don't even sound right. But then when I look at the videos and educate myself on it, I see this is where the world is going. And I just say this part. Your dollar that's in your pocket ain't worth what 3 cents now. 3 cents. 3 cents. It's $1 in your hand, but that money is not worth like it used to be. I remember when $1 used to be worth $1. It ain't that no more.
I personally acknowledge, you know, how far I came. I had to, so I can appreciate it and look back at my life and how much work I put in to get where I need to be and the people I surrounded myself with. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of them. I'm truly honored and blessed to meet all these beautiful people that I met and the people that I will meet, because it's not just me by myself that got this far. It was y'all help too. And I appreciate all of that. What they say? Sasha said, I'm so used to being alone and doing things alone that I forget I have people I can trust and talk to. Yeah, it happens. But I want you to know you're not in this alone. You got people who support you and got your back and love you. I just want to see you be great. You don't have to deal with it alone. You're not alone. You may feel that way. We all feel that way sometimes. Kitty said, I have and I am proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be proud of it. You gotta be thankful for it. You know, you have to. You got to.
You tell your kids you love them and pray with them every day. That's right.
You got to. They appreciate that, and then when they get older, they start to do that. You know, they have their own family and their friends and all of that, and just keep on going. Are you holding yourself to unrealistic expectations?
Take a drink on that one.
Yeah. Are you holding yourself to unrealistic expectations? If you are, you know, for anybody that is, you know, it's okay. You can be honest. We're not gonna judge you or anything like that. You know what happens? We all have done it, or still do it to this day. We all guilty of that. Like I said, nobody's perfect. Y'all all in a safe space here. shoot, just be honest. If you have, I know I have before. Do I still do it from time to time? Every now and then. I try not to, but I'm human. You know, I'm human. But I want to know what some of y'all answers on that. I'm curious. I just want to know.
I think a lot of us have. I think a lot of us have. And I think a lot of us still doing it.
Yeah.
And I believe some people have people in their corner that's feeding it into their ear to where they do be like that. And that's the thing, you know, and I say a lot of times. We clean our houses, like they say, spring cleaning. We'll spring clean the house, but we won't spring clean the mind. We won't get all that negative stuff out of our head. It's like we spring clean the house, dust it, open the window so it can air out, get rid of a lot of stuff, but we won't do this mind like that.
You pretty much almost like cleansing yourself. You got to do it. You got to. Man. But a point I want to bring up is you have to accept that being imperfect is a part of being human. You got to accept that. The moment you do, you'll feel better. Because you got to look at everybody else, you know, in the world and be like, bro, they mess up just as much as I did. You know, but everybody try to, you know, paint this picture like I'm perfect. I can do no wrong. I never did this, or did that, whatever. Man, everybody did something in their life. Everybody did something in their life.
Yeah.
You know, even, you know, some people, I don't consider myself as like a famous person. You know, to some people I am, I guess. But, you know, I'm slowly getting there. But at the same time, I tell them, like, bro, I'm human. You know, I'm just a regular person just like you at the end of the day, if we're being realistic. You know, I'm not this perfect person. There's no such thing as I've never done no wrong. I've done wrong before. But I prayed about it and I learned from it and pushed myself to be a better person so that I don't have to, you know, be that type of person anymore or try to be somebody down the line. Which it goes right back to giving yourself grace. So, what's some advice you can give to someone who doesn't give themselves grace?
Take time out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do a mental evaluation. Separate yourself from the negative people.
Journal.
Yeah.
If you're religious, talk to God.
Clear the way. Write down goals that you're trying to accomplish. Talk to people that you can trust. Talk to people that you can trust. And be more accountable for yourself. And see kids talking about something also. People don't like to face accountability. That's true. Be accountable. Accountability is a must. Take responsibility of what you've done wrong and take responsibility and be accountable for what you've done right.
Which that ties into this other point, which was, you know, you have to learn from the experience rather than dwell on what you did wrong. You know,
well, if I dwell on what you did wrong, I wouldn't even say right here, y'all see me.
Man, what? Because you have to learn from it.
I'd be somewhere else.
You know, you gotta learn from it.
Or I'd be sleeping, laying around watching TV. And that's another thing. And see, that's where the sacrifice come in too. To even be in a business and be like a business mind, you have to. I can have the TV on, but sometimes I'm not. It's just on. I'm not even watching. I can hear it, but I'm not watching.
Yeah.
Because in order for a business to take off, you got to put time and effort in it.
Yeah.
You got to. So that's where the sacrifice come in again. You got to put time and effort in it. Just like when I detail, me and William, we go out and detail. It's time and effort and labor in that to get it going. You know, I was sitting down, I was with him yesterday, and we were supposed to be, it's rain and storm here. But me and him was talking. I'm just sitting there, we just outside talking, looking at the sky and stuff like that. And I just looked at, we couldn't do nothing because of that. And, people cancel and stuff like that. But at the same time, I looked at it too as like, that's a moment me and him shared and bonded because we hadn't really been together and talking in a while. And just listening to what he was saying and listening to his business plan of what he's doing and looking at where he's going. I can see where he's going just by listening to him talk. I can see where he's going, even with the business, I can see it. And when we are doing a car, a lot of people can wash a car. Everybody can't detail. That's something that we have gift in, and we are perfecting it even better. We may not be the best, but we can run with it. I put it that way. But just sitting there listening to him talk and share some stuff with me, and I got ready to go. He said, "Man, I'm sorry, man. We didn't have nothing to do." I said, "Bro, it was just good to come hang out with you." And he's younger than me. See, you can't be in that mindset because you're older than somebody. A younger person can't inspire you or tell you something that's gonna help motivate you to the next level. You can't. And so when I got home, I tell her, "Hey, this is what William, this is what your uncle told me." And Brandon said we gotta look into that. Automatic, right on top of it, we gotta look into that. Because it's to help the business. So we're looking into getting a printer to print up labels and everything. See, and I already know it's gonna take the money to do this stuff. Do I have it? No. Am I gonna make a way? Yeah. Somehow, some way, it's gonna happen. Because a lot of times I put a lot of stuff in trust in the Lord. Hey, Lord, this is what I need. This is what we need. Not only me and him, but my kids. Not only my kids, but everybody that's trying to do something that's positive. We need this. We need this, this, and this. But first, I'm putting us first, though. We need this, this, and this.
And despite, even though, they wasn't able to, detail cars and things of that nature, it was still a positive outcome out of that. Yeah. You still have to find something positive despite what happened. Whether you look at, if it was negative or whatever.
So to cut it, somebody.
But yeah, and when it comes to, I know we talk about business a lot and all that, but just in general, whatever your dreams and your goals is, I know a lot of y'all seen on social media, people be saying, I did this for like 4 hours, 5 hours, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not knocking that. That's what you do. That's what you do. But all you gotta take is 30 minutes out your time to work on whatever it is you're doing. It's the little steps. That 30 minutes turn to an hour. That hour turn into 2. That 2 turn to 5, and etc. It takes time. You gotta be, patient with yourself and give yourself grace and just try to figure out what it is you want to do. And figure out what it is you want to do and just take your time. Understand it's gonna take time, bro. It's gonna take time. Nothing happens like that, bro. It doesn't. And you're gonna fail at things. When you do, go back and tweak it.
And one key thing that we both agreed on, even with my friend Pastor Steve, I'm gonna have him back on. We're gonna talk about the business again. But one thing me and William talked about yesterday, and we both agreed, even in business, once you get that first, it trickles down. Just like any dealership. I have a job too. It's like any dealership. And I work at a Honda dealership. Any dealership. Once you get that first sale, when I used to sell cars, they always, whenever training, they always say, once you get that first, and you're on your way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was when I was selling cars. I got that first one. I became the top salesman the second month.
You can have 1,000 no's. All you need is that one yes.
One yes.
That's all you need is that one yes. Once you do, you gone from there.
And that's how I will detail it. Once I got that first one, now it started going, it started growing.
Yeah. You got to be consistent with it, but also give yourself grace to take a break sometimes. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't want to gas yourself out, overwhelm yourself, stress yourself out. And, you know, even myself, I'm guilty of this, trying to do everything at one time. When you have to do one thing at a time, you have to. If you're trying to do multiple things at one time, I get it. You very creative and all that stuff. Me and my dad's creative people that we are, we guilty of doing that. But sometimes we have to be like, hold on, wait a minute. Let me take a step back. Start from the beginning. We do this first. And when I'm done with that, go to this. Or, you know, work on this for a while, take a break on that, go do this. You have to pace yourself.
Yeah. And you know, we take breaks. Even from this, we take breaks. And because we have other things we do too, you know, with church and stuff like that. We do other things too. But and the break is necessary because now you get to hear other people talking. I love to hear the young people talk because one of the things about them is that a lot of adults don't like to listen to them because they think they know it all, but you don't know it all. And that's why even in church, when I be in Sunday school, and I always surprise the young people that I say a certain song of this generation, they look at me like, I said, y'all think I knew they did. I said, you know why I listen to it? I listen to it for y'all. Because y'all hear the song, a lot of times y'all don't know the meaning behind the song. And so, and I listen to them talk, and we talk, and Pete, man, this is what going and see. That's what they want to do. They want somebody to just listen to them, not always somebody trying to tell them everything. Because even me at my age, my mama is 92. But I say the stuff to my mama that she started to pick up on now. So
a lot of people just want to be heard sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't always got to lecture somebody and all this stuff. Sometimes they just want you to listen.
Just listen.
That make them feel comfortable. And, you know, to go back on what I was talking about, you know, when it comes to taking a break on certain things, working on something else, like I said, you have to not worry about people saying, you know, anything to you about, well, you ain't doing this no more. It's like, I'm just taking a break on that. But that don't mean I'm not doing nothing. Just because I'm not doing this right now, that don't mean I'm not working on something completely different. But half the time, or majority of the time, don't worry about it. You ain't got to explain yourself to a good majority of people. You ain't got to explain yourself. You know what it is you doing. You know what it is you working on. Cool, keep it that way. You feel like I'm being lazy or whatever the case may be. All right, cool. You think that. I'm not going to worry about it because I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to worry about what you saying. You ain't doing this, blah, blah. All right, cool. Keep thinking that. I'm going to let you think that. Because I know what I'm fighting for, and I know how my body works, how I operate, and what's going on with me, and what'll happen if I'm too focused on worrying about what you're saying, or if I'm trying to do everything at one time. Now I'm stressing myself out trying to meet your standards and all this stuff and listen to what you're saying. What? Now, if you're giving me positive feedback, cool, I'll listen to you. I hear you out, you know, see what you got to say, because you could be helping me. But if it's the negative people, shoot, remove yourself from them. You have to. And
it'd be best if you do.
You have to speak positivity over your life. You have to. You know, I will make it. I will do better. You know, I will lose weight. I will gain muscle. I will become a better artist. I will become a better whatever it is you're trying to do. You got to. I will take more breaks or whatever. You have to give yourself grace. You got to speak positive over your life. Because what'll happen is if you don't and you keep saying, well, I'll do this later or I can't do this or whatever, now that's going to become a habit. That's going to become a part of your vocabulary.
Mhm.
Now you're gonna start doing what you've been speaking about.
Yep.
You got to. Now, do you deserve compassion just as much as anyone else?
Yeah. Deserve it. And say I don't. I can give it. I should be able to give it back to myself too.
Right. The only reason I asked that, y'all, 'cause I know some people might be like, "That's dumb." No, it's not, because it's a lot of people out here that feel like they don't deserve it. You'll be amazed. You know, it is a lot of people who do feel that way. So to some people, that might be a dumb question to ask, but no, it's not. I've heard some people's stories. I've listened to them, and they say, I don't feel like I'm worthy or deserve compassion. So, because I'm not going to judge nobody and things of that nature, I like to hear people out. Are there people who don't deserve compassion? Whew.
I put it like this. I understand. And some people that we feel like they don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's some people because they feel like, you know, they're like invincible. And sometimes, even though we may not think they deserve it, they still deserve it. But sometimes you have to pull yourself back from it, try to have compassion for them. And as my mama say, let them hit that wall.
Yeah.
Let them hit that brick wall. Sometimes it'll armor them. Sometimes it won't.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's best to pull yourself back from it and let them find it the hard way, depending on what it is. Let them find it the hard way. Because you try to give them compassion and be so loving, oh, all this and this. And sometimes they'll take that and use that to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you pull yourself back from a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And we understand, like, there's some people out here doing terrible things. We know that. At the end of the day, that's between you and God. You know, you just gotta be careful of that. What else she say? Do people who purposely hurt other people deserve compassion?
I don't give it to them.
I don't really give it to them for real.
I mean, you hurt people on purpose.
Like I said, you know, it's people out here doing terrible things. At the end of the day, you gotta ask God whatever it is you believe in. But you know,
I don't give it to them. I mean, you purposely hurting me. Okay, no, I'm just gonna move on out your presence.
Remove myself.
You doing it on purpose too?
Yeah. Like, and I know a lot of people can't do this. Like me, I be forgiving people and all that. I know a lot of people can't do that. You know, I understand that you have your reason. You have your reason. That's you. I'm not knocking what it is you believe in, what it is you're doing. Me, depending on what it is, the majority of the time I forgive people and I move on and I pray about forgiveness.
That's right.
Do they deserve to be forgiven? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
It's gonna be hard depending on the situation. It's gonna be hard. If somebody raped you, if somebody unalived your loved one, if somebody do you terribly wrong and stuff like that, that's gonna hurt. You may forgive them, but you may not forgive them right then.
Right.
But sometimes you're gonna have to forgive them so it won't eat you up. Because when you get on the other side, if you want to be forgiven, you got to know how to forgive yourself. Now, like I said, even domestic violence, rape, unaliving somebody, that negative stuff like that, it's gonna take you a while to forgive somebody about that. It's gonna take you a while.
She said, "How do you know if you've forgiven someone like that?"
How do you know?
Yeah, she said, "How do you know?"
It won't bother you as much. It won't even, it won't bother you.
You'll never forget it, but it won't bother you as much.
It won't bother you as much as it did before. I mean, you'll forgive them, and even when you see them, it don't affect you like that. I mean, that's what I was looking for. It don't affect you like that, because sometimes that person that done something to you and every time you see them, it affects you.
Mhm. When you reach that point of forgiveness, it won't bother you as much. Like I said, like we said, you won't forget it, but it won't bother you as much.
And that's why we're going right there. For forgiveness is for you. And I had to
Mhm.
learn that for myself because holding on to it will hurt you even more. And that's why we're going right there.
It's for you.
It's for you.
Because even the people that pretend or act like they don't care or whatever, trust me, it's eating them up. They can say that all they want, but in the back of their mind, it is eating them up.
Mm-hmm. Unless
And
you're just a person that has no conscience.
you ain't got no conscience, you ain't got no soul, none of that. Like, but
there's some heartless people out there.
Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you, it's some things that can break them for sure. If they loved ones would experience the same thing, I guarantee they'll snap. Some won't. They're like we said, there's some people like that. But yeah. Man, I got this one last question before we get ready to head out is how can you rest or reset instead of pushing through with guilt?
You got to deal with that guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Only way you're gonna get through it and push through it and get to the other side, you're gonna have to push, you're gonna have to forgive that guilt. You gotta get that guilt out.
You got to.
I mean, if you gotta go apologize to somebody, go apologize to them. You gotta ask that person for forgiveness, go ask that person for forgiveness. Because you can say all you want to. Well, I don't forgot about it. No, it's still there because when you see it, it plays in your head. When you see them plays in your head.
Even when it comes to that forgiveness part, even if they don't forgive you, the question is, do you forgive yourself?
Yeah. You gotta learn how to forgive yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Too. Then move on. You gotta forgive yourself, whatever it was, you gotta forgive yourself for it. And all that regret and all that kind of stuff, you gotta learn how to deal with that and get it out, get it over with you.
Mm-hmm. How to deal with it a healthy way. Whether it's journaling, going to the gym, whatever. You gonna have to get it out your system. You have to, because if you don't, it's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life until you deal with it the proper way. Because you don't want to crash out.
Mm-mm.
But man, this was a pretty good episode, man. I appreciate all y'all coming through. What you got coming up, man?
Oh, we be on right after this. You know, y'all give us a few minutes and ready your sound something and
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
sticks up. We'll be talking about the babies and the children, and the enemy wants to destroy them. And that's something serious. So I'm gonna be a little serious. I'll be a little serious tonight. The live that we did Thursday, we think that somebody reported me because they took it down. He's still up on his page and on Kania's page. So if y'all missed the live Thursday, y'all go check their pages out and become friends. If you're not friends with them, become friends with them. Because somebody reported me and Facebook got at me, and because I was playing some real serious videos about how they could, on a serious topic, how they're using the internet to get all your information. And I know it didn't like it because Facebook was in it too.
It's crazy how when you talking about stuff like that, they flag it and do whatever to try to silence you, but they allowing all this crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
They allow that, but
yeah,
you just
have to get active and break it down. You have to understand your guilt and ask yourself for forgiveness before asking whoever else involved for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And
she said,
"Yep," and then give yourself grace. Yep, and then give yourself grace. That's right. It's a good topic.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, so I'll be on it. We'll be on right after this. Just give us a few, switch some things around, and my merch. I got my merch now. Got it on. Trying to advertise for my own self. I wore it to church today. I ain't like that. I don't go to church with a suit on all the time, and there's a reason for that. I'm gonna talk about that one day. Reason why I wear a suit all the time in church, and some of it got to do with slavery. Because I'm gonna break that part down too, because it is, but I'm gonna say that. But I got this going on now. He's got it going, made it for me. So if y'all want one, just hit me up in my DM, let me know about it, and see can we get you one. And
She said this was nice. I enjoyed it. Love the conversation. We appreciate y'all coming through.
Get you one, but we're gonna be talking about the babies in a minute. We'll be talking about the babies, y'all.
She said W merch. She loved the merch.
Yeah. And God, come get you one. Got to get you one. But just hit me up for this, and I'll be talking about I'll let you know about my business too. You hit me up in the DM. I'll share that with you and share you what's going on out here in this world about business, and it's a good thing. I feel like it's gonna be good because, like I said, money is not worth like it was back in the day. So I'll be talking about our babies and the children. The enemy wants to destroy them. So I'm not gonna play no videos because I gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm worried about Facebook taking stuff down. I don't worry about that stuff. But when truth is being presented, because we talked about a lot of truth being Neil Thursday. So y'all go check it out on their pages. They got it off mine, so it's okay. I don't been in Facebook jail about 4 or 5 times, so telling some truthful stuff, that's all right with me. But yeah, just hit me up and put your order in.
As far as for me, yeah, y'all know what's up with me with the dancing and all that. Your boy been in the lab heavy, boy, and I got some ideas for these videos I'm gonna start doing. Working with some people, gonna be collabing with some people. Y'all finna see a different version of me, boy, because I already don't locked in with the dancing. So I got that going on, photo shoots and all that extra stuff. I'm working with some people when it comes to the sickle cell stuff. So I'm trying to get all the details of that and figure it out. So I'm doing that. The merch, I'm locking back in on that. The website I already got that a lot of y'all know about. I may still keep that one. I do not know yet. But I'm in the process of transitioning over to some, different websites and all that, because I'm trying to come up with better quality for y'all. And y'all start to see me wear it more often. That's why I don't wear it too much now. My book and all that, the one I've been wrote years ago, and the one I'm working on now, still doing that. I got some new stuff coming up, working with some people, trying to figure some things out. So trying to get all the details with that. Then I may start streaming gaming and all that. I don't know yet. Still figuring that out. So I may start doing that. We still gonna have special guests come on here and things of that nature. Even if you yourself want to come up here and share your story, shoot either one of us a message. We'll discuss the details, set a date, and all that other stuff. But yeah, we still gonna have that. We're gonna do it a couple of times, but we still gonna have a day to where we're gonna let everybody come on here and shout their business out. It's completely free. We're not charging nobody to do it.
You want to put $1 cash app,
yeah, that's optional. If you want to send something to the Cash App, that's totally up to you. But yeah, we're gonna have a day where everybody come on here, shout your business out. As long as it's something positive and nothing crazy. But we're gonna have a day for that.
And speaking of that, if you got any young men or young friends or your brothers or any men that if you're still in here, because Neil have created the Discord where we come back in the back and just talk and we call him Mr. Know-It-All. He don't know it all. We call him Mr. Know-It-All. Cornelius Dunlap, we call him Neil Cornelius Dunlap, but he go by the name Mr. Know-It-All. He has created a Discord, so if y'all be a part of that, men, y'all come on. We're trying to get the men. We're gonna add the ladies in, but we're trying to get some of the young men to come in so they can talk.
Yeah. I want to give a few shout outs. I can't name everybody, but I love all y'all. I'm not proud of y'all. But AR the Prophet, Faith, Kiera, in the sickle cell community, they doing a lot of big things right now, and I'm becoming part of that as well. I try to share the stuff they got going on. Shout out to my boy Woody. He's doing his thing with the merch and all that and gaming. things of that nature. Man, shout out to all y'all, because it's a lot of y'all doing a lot, putting in that work. Proud of y'all and I love y'all. But yeah, we finna get up out of here. Don't forget, come to his.
Go grab your
Yeah,
sandwich.
go
Come on back.
grab you something right quick. Grab you a little snack. Come on back, vibe out for a little bit, because we're gonna be talking about something serious on his. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Stay focused, stay positive, smile. Y'all know how I do. Be smooth with it.